Besides, you're saying it wrong. It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
Let's get you out of here, Buzz.
Don't you get it? You see the hat? I am Mrs. Nesbit. Snap out of it, Buzz.
Look what I got. I got a jar of dirt. I got a jar of dirt. And guess what's inside it?
Taking my life, Usul. It is the only way.
I'm pointing the way.
I've really got to get you out of those clothes
Excuse me?
and into a black dress. Tell me, Doctor, do you like the circus?
To another snowy episode of Get a Load of This Movie, a franchise movie podcast, as we are dealing with about a foot of snow here for me. Cole, what's the snow look like for you?
About the same. I've shoveled my driveway 4 times to just make sure I don't have to shovel like 2 feet of snow later.
And then Zach, how deep is the snow for you?
I can't even see out my window, my 3rd-story window. We are completely covered in snow here in Hollywood.
Oh, no.
It is apocalyptic.
Oh,
We have a day
no.
after tomorrow situation out there in Hollywood. A little
But-
dated reference for you there.
But snow is not going to keep us from podcasting, that is for sure. And today we have a very fun episode. We are covering Batman 1989. Is that right? 1989 with Michael Keaton,
That's right.
Tim Burton. And so we're going to cover that and then Batman Returns right after that. Is that correct? Batman Returns, right? Sometimes I mix up the titles of the early Batman movies. But that's the 2 movies that we're covering. And then we have a little bit of a special surprise, but we'll get into that more in the post-credit scene. But do you guys have anything before we get started? I don't think nothing. No.
Yeah, you know what? I think this is something that we should maybe get in the habit of doing. This one podcast I listen to does it, and I feel like it's a really good icebreaker for an episode. It's like talking about a particular movie. And, you know, I've already taken so many podcast ideas from the Halloweenies anyway, so might as well just do another one.
Right.
When was the first time? We used to talk about this a lot. When was the first time you've seen this movie? Can you recall?
So I can't remember the first time I watched this movie. I do remember the first time I watched all of them. Like I was like, I haven't seen a lot of the older Batman, so this could have been the first time I actually watched it all the way through. But it was actually 4 years ago to the date today. 4 years ago is when I did my full run through of all of the Batman movies. So I'm going to say that's the first time I remember watching it all the way through. But I had seen bits and pieces throughout, but never like all the way through growing up.
Well, set your calendar for January 2030. You
Woo!
know, just get it.
Ow!
Keep the routine.
Let me think. I mean, my parents had this on VHS. So I think I watched this when I was like maybe 6 or 7 for the first time. But on a VHS, where if you missed something, you had to walk up to the TV and press rewind. So that really dates my experience with this movie.
What's a TV?
What's a TV?
That was a joke. Keep going.
He's got nothing.
I got nothing. It's pretty early here in the Central Time.
It's early in the Central Time.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't realize, though, that the Joel Schumacher ones were supposed to be connected to these till I was about like 11 or 12.
Which one's the Joel Schumacher ones? The ones that take place directly after?
Yeah, the Val Kilmer and George Clooney.
Yeah, they're pretty disconnected, and I can pretty much separate them pretty cleanly in my head. But honestly, we could probably talk more about that at Batman Returns. Those might be more relevant of a topic then.
But what about you, Zach? How old were you? When did you first see this?
I really do think this is like the earliest memory I have of superhero movies. So I don't even know what age it would have been, 5, 6, whatever that might be. I mean, I've probably brought it up on the Raimi Spider-Man movies I have really early memories of that first Spider-Man. Seeing Spider-Man 2 is one of my earliest going to a movie memories, but I think it really was that Raimi Spider-Man and this Batman movie were like the 2 superhero movies that I grew up on. This was like my impression of Batman, you know, and like maybe all I had before that was just whatever animated Batman show was on TV, on WB, like the WB channel. There used to be a channel, right? Like WB or my Now I'm really
it's so. Just for context there, it was the UPN, became the WB, and now it's the CW.
Oh, it's that channel.
Yeah. What is known in your local listings, or at least my local listings, as Channel 11.
That's probably very local. That is probably very local.
Mhm. And so obviously you'll pick up on the fact that this being one of my early experiences has probably defined a lot of my feelings for it. But I'd like to think I could back some of them up at least. But we'll see.
I think the first time I watched all these through, I was asking a lot of questions about certain things, and so I do want to have that conversation today because there are things.
Great.
I'm not trying to like. I'm not coming at this like this movie sucks by any means, but I am interested like what was going on.
I did open the document. I did open the document a bit ago, and I saw something new, and that's when I said, "Uh-oh." And it was right there after summary. Something had been added to our shared Google Doc, and it's Corey's hot take, and a chill ran down my spine. So I'm just kind of antsy. Let's just get it going.
Let's just get
Let's
going.
get in with the call sheet.
Hello. You don't know me, but I know you. I want to play a game. There is only one key to open the device. It's in the stomach of your dead cellmate. You better hurry up. Live or die. Make your choice.
So I made a call sheet. It's a little bit different than the last one. Still pretty simple. Not looking to reinvent the wheel by any means. It's name that Batman. So I'm going to give you a Batman quote, and you have to tell me which actor said that Batman quote. Okay? So that's all it is. And think about this, because this is going to I'm going to lead up into my hot take. I'm going to dip your toes in the water before I just throw you in the boiling water of my hot take. Okay, are you guys ready? You guys are going to be texting me your answers. Oh, wait, let me pull up that so it doesn't mess anything up.
Dr. Dre to the Rapmobile. Let's go.
Okay, are you ready?
Oh, I got that reference, Cole.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Now, you know the problem was he got sloppy. Now, you know what the problem was? He got sloppy. What Batman actor said that?
It's one of my favorite scenes.
Okay, I have an answer from each of you. Moving on. Quote number 2, this is why Superman works alone. This is why Superman works alone. What Batman actor said that? I have an answer from
I've narrowed
Cole.
it down to 2 in my mind.
I need an answer from Zach.
Okay, it's coming.
Will you play
Okay,
Batman?
I have an answer from each of you. I'm moving on to quote number 3. I see without seeing. To me, darkness is as clear as daylight. What am I? Who said that?
Who said that?
Who said that?
Tell me,
quote number
doctor.
4.
Do you like the circus?
Quote number 4. I'm sorry, I'm not keeping track. They're not numbered, so I'm kind of numbering them in my head. I'm not going to kill you. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me. What
Can you
Batman
imagine
said
if that's
that?
how that line was delivered, the way you just delivered it?
I want you to tell all your friends about me.
Oh, that one, Michael Jackson? The new movie Michael?
Can you get the lights?
And then I have 4. Okay, sorry. I have an answer from each of you. Moving on.
Joker? I thought I told you, Joker. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
The girl is mine,
Okay.
Joker.
Okay. Lock in and reattach, and we're going. Criminals aren't complicated, Alfred. Just have to figure out what he's after. I have an answer from Zach. I have an answer from Cole. We're moving on. Scars can destroy us. Even our scars can destroy us. Even I have an answer from Cole. Waiting on Zach. This is going to take.
I don't feel good about that one.
This is going to take a second of me like going back because I have 10 quotes. Yes, it's my rules to keep us alive. And if you want to stay in this house and on this team, you will abide by them.
That narrows that one down.
Okay, I have an answer from each of you. Moving on. I read your work. I have an answer from Zach. I have an answer from Cole. People are dying, Alfred. What would you have me do?
You delivered it like David Corden's set or whatever from Superman.
People are dying.
People were going to die.
People are
I
going to
remember
die.
Cole really liked that line.
That scene's great. I'm sorry.
It's the best scene in the movie. It's easily the best scene in the movie. To me.
And here's the last quote we
it's
have.
13 minutes.
And here's the last. We're not talking about Superman.
Today.
Here's the last quote we have. When that light hits the sky, it's not just a call. It's a warning.
Oh, chills. Ooh. Best scene of that movie too, in my opinion.
Okay, give me a second. Talk amongst yourselves. I am going to have to score this out really quick.
Is there any
Just because there's 10 of them, I couldn't keep track in my head too much.
Well, while we wait for Corey to score this, Zach, have you seen the new animated Batman series yet?
I've
The
not.
Well, yeah, because you hate TV. I forgot.
Unless there was one in here I was not sure about, but I feel pretty good about the rest of them.
Same.
I wonder if the one I wasn't sure. Did Corey reach to go deep into the vault and do a Kevin Conroy one from Mask of the Phantasm? I wonder.
Corey
Wait, that was
definitely pulled one from The Flash.
Oh,
Sorry, I'm focusing.
That's
so
probably the one
hard.
I got wrong.
The Scars one.
Yeah,
We'll go through it.
I remember thinking like that's not a good line. I probably should have started to think let that guide my thought. Oh man, we could talk more about the Flash next on Batman Returns, I think. But
I'd be down.
yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
so we do have a winner. I'm going to go through these really quick, and then
It's
I'm not going to ask you what you said because I mean there's 10, so it can kind of get a little bit confusing. But we do have a winner. I'm going to go through it really quick, give you the actor for each. You guys can kind of keep track in your head, and then I will give the final winner. Now you know what the problem was. He got sloppy. That was Michael Keaton. So you guys both got that one correct. This is why Superman works alone. That was George Clooney. You guys both got that one correct.
Corey actually delivered that better than George did, in my opinion.
I see without seeing. To me, darkness is as clear as day. What am I? That was Val Kilmer. You guys both got that one
R.I.P..
correct.
he's doing his riddle. Yeah.
I am
R.I.P.
not going to kill you. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me. That was Michael Keaton. You guys both got that one
That's
correct.
like a
Why
Tobias
do you-
Funke line reading. Like, and I'm the last guy you want to run
Why
into
do
in a dark
you? Why
alley.
do you emphasize the all? You're like, I want you to tell all your
You know, it's like-
friends
It's
about.
be like a party. Next one. Criminals aren't complicated, Alfred. You just have to figure out what he's after. That is Christian Bale. You guys both got that
Oh,
one
that's a great
correct.
scene. One of
So
the-
you
one of my
guys,
favorite
you
scenes in that
guys
movie.
went 5 for 5, both of you, and then this is where we started to get a little back and forth, and then you guys cleaned up at the very end. So these next 3, you guys did not both. You guys both didn't get these correct, so this is where the winner was made. Criminal. Or, no, I read that one. Our scars can destroy us even after the physical wounds have healed. Our scars can destroy us even after the physical wounds have healed. That was Robert Pattinson. That was
Let's
Robert
go!
Pattinson.
Damn.
Wow.
Yes, it's my rules. My rules keep us alive, and if you want to stay in this house and on this team, you will abide by them. That was George Clooney. I know.
Said Val. It was
Cole
one
got-
of 2 for sure.
Cole got that one correct.
That
So
was
it
a
comes,
peak scene in Batman and Robin.
it comes down to this very, very last one, I believe, right?
So that's assuming we both got the last 2 right.
You guys both got the last 2 correct, so it does come down to this last one. I'm sorry. I read your work. Insightful. Naive, but insightful. I didn't read that correctly. But that was Kilmer. Zach put Ben Affleck. And the last 2, people are dying, Alfred. What would you have me do? That was Christian Bale. And when that light hits the sky, it's not just a call, it's a warning. That was Robert Pattinson. So Cole, you have won this round. Name that Batman. On to the action.
Even the opening scene, there's always some random girl who gets a call that undoubtedly ends up getting her killed. It's also predictable. There's no element of surprise. You can see everything coming. Ah!
Did that surprise you?
Why?
Because you talk too much. Now shut the fuck up and watch the movie.
Two and 0. 2-0 to start the season.
I'm not keeping track.
I am. So that's good.
I do.
So Cole started hot, and then he lost the next many episodes.
Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should do Cole W and like time date them because I have all of our notes, or all of my notes. Cole W.
Damn it.
That way we could see which one won which. Actually, you know what? Let me date these 2.
And we can see when Zach just decided to lock in and like destroy me every week.
When did we record Stranger Things? Does anyone remember?
It's on our list.
I'll say we did it on the 19th or something like that. I don't remember. Okay, so very interesting. No, I like keeping track. I like data. I like fun with numbers. You know what? Maybe I'll make a spreadsheet. That'll be even more fun. Cole, I know I say this a lot. I didn't watch it this time at all. I actually did not watch it this time, and I know I say it a lot, but this time I didn't. I was too busy, and I had it on in the background, so I know what they said, but I didn't watch it. So what happened?
Okay.
I was doing laundry.
Reporters, dude, that's the point of doing laundry, is to watch something while you're doing laundry. You've completely missed the point of laundry.
Did you see that oh my gosh, what's his name? Why can't I think of it? Ben Affleck and
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon on Joe Rogan. They were talking about Netflix. You have to say the plot 3 times at least because people are doing laundry. They're scrolling through on their phones. They're not paying attention to the movie. So you have to say the plot multiple times so people don't get lost. He actually said that. That's what Netflix told them. Zach, how does that make you feel? Yucky.
Bad. It makes me feel icky. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Cole.
Reporters Alexander Knox and Vicky Vale investigate the mysterious vigilante, Batman, while Bruce Wayne, secretly Batman, meets Vicky at a fundraiser and is drawn to her. How could you not be? Wayne's crusade. What?
A little objectifying for 2026.
Wayne's crusade stems from childhood trauma after witnessing his parents' murder in Gotham City. Mob boss Carl Grissom betrays his lieutenant Jack Napier by sending him to Axis Chemicals, arranging for corrupt police to kill him. Batman intervenes during the raid. Napier kills Lieutenant Eckhart but falls into a vat of chemicals during a fight with Batman. Napier survives but is grotesquely disfigured, goes insane, and renames himself the Joker, killing Grissom and seizing control of his criminal empire. Sorry, I'm a little stuffed up. The Joker terrorizes Gotham with Smilex, a chemical that kills victims with fatal laughter. Joker becomes obsessed with Vicky Vale. Batman rescues her, reveals his Batcave, and gives her the antidote research to stop Smilex. Joker confronts Bruce Wayne, revealing he used the same phrase as Wayne's parents' killer, confirming Joker's role in creating Batman. Joker lures Gotham citizens into a deadly parade. Batman stops it, leading to a final battle at a cathedral where Joker falls to his death. With Joker defeated, Gotham's criminals are arrested. The bat signal is unveiled, and Batman watches over the city as Vicky returns to Wayne Manor.
Corey, why don't you go ahead and just ruin everyone's day?
So I have a quick question for you guys before I ruin everyone's day. You fall into a vat of acid. What's your new name? Go.
Pee pee poo poo
Acid Man.
Oopie doopie man. Is that what you said?
I said pee pee poo poo man.
Oh, pee
I don't
poo
know.
man.
I mean,
Vat of acid.
Vat of acid guy.
I would be whiteboard guy, and here's why. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I don't really have anything. That was just off the top of my head. No, I had the call sheet. The call sheet I made very purposely, and we're going over all the Batmans because I had a question before I kind of have my hot take, and it's how do we judge movies that have had multiple reboots against one another? How do we do that? Can we do that?
We do it all the time.
I understand we do, but how do we do that and can we do that? Because this movie, looking at like Christopher Nolan Batman movies are very, very different. This movie compared to like the Adam West Batman is very, very different, right? Like that's very, very campy, cartoony. This one takes itself more seriously, but it's still fun and still has that campy feelness to it. And then you look at like Christopher Nolan, Robert Pattinson, two, not most recent, but like very dark and very grounded. And so it's like, how do we compare? Because the closest we have is like James Bond, and I feel like those kind of follow a similar trajectory as Batman. But how do we compare? And does this make it, if we like another Batman stylistically more, does that make this movie not as good?
That's the easier question to answer. That's the easier question. Or that's the easier question to approach, is like, what approach to Batman as a character do you prefer? Honestly, put plainly, I think probably this one. I wouldn't say the Adam West one, but I understand why that was the way it was when it was. Like, and I can understand the appeal there as a comedy. But I do like that this movie, like we talked a lot about this with like Spider-Man movies, but like this movie embraces the comic book nature, while also taking itself seriously. You know, there's enough adult drama there. You know, so like there's on one hand you have like an adult relationship between Vicky and Bruce, and you have a lot of you have that mature element to it, but then you also have Joker with a thing on his hand that can sizzle a guy during a handshake to death. So it's an odd spectrum that we're dealing with here, and I think it's really a unique one. So I like this one a lot, but also, of course, I would never disparage the Christopher Nolan approach. It's just different, like obviously that goes without saying, but I think this one's just a little more, I want to say more artistic because I feel condescending towards the Nolan movies, but this one's more aesthetically driven, where Nolan's is very plot driven and action driven.
Yes.
The way Gotham's designed is kind of like that retro futuristic kind of look to it, but it's also feels like it's set in like the 1940s almost.
Yeah, exactly. I love the matte paintings in this one, of which there are a few, of like the look of Gotham back there with the industrial look with all the just smoke constantly billowing in the sky in this place.
Why can't we have a nice Gotham City? Why can't there be like...
Because then that would just be ridiculous.
Great question. And I think that kind of goes along with my hot take. And so I'm glad you brought that up, Cole. Because in this one, I feel like this version of Bruce Wayne that we get is very, very different than... it's pretty similar to the Val Kilmer and George Clooney, but like Bale, Ben Affleck, and Robert Pattinson, I'm sorry. They're all very brooding. They're very like isolated. They stay to themselves. And I think this might be a bias here, but like me growing up with that type of Batman and seeing a very honestly, he is very fun. He's trying to date someone. Like, I don't think they really are doing that at all from Christian Bale to Robert Pattinson at all. Like any of those three, they're not trying to put themselves out there.
Robert
they're trying
Pattinson
to
could be dating in the next one. We don't know.
But but to date, we haven't seen that. And so like he is probably the happiest Batman, Bruce Wayne we've seen. And I think for me, the hot take comes in where I didn't like that choice stylistically. I didn't read the comments, so I don't know exactly what they're pulling from, but I did play the Arkham Asylum games, and so I have some context there. I did watch the animated Batman series, so I have some context there. I've watched all the Batmans that have come out. I've actually watched all of them, so I have that kind of context. And I think, honestly, what it comes down to is I prefer to have this, like, brooding, kind of self-isolating Bruce Wayne because it makes more sense where Batman is coming from. And I can see how that is, like, an outlet. But when you have, like, a Bruce Wayne as Michael Keaton plays him, and I don't think Michael Keaton does a bad job. I think this was, like, this is a choice we are making. This is the angle we want to portray Bruce Wayne as. I think that kind of made me think, where is this like Batman persona coming from? Like it feels like he has pretty good control over his faculties in real life, that he doesn't really need an outlet. And like he's hosting parties and he's socializing at them. He's meeting women. He's going on dates. Like it's like, where is that really coming from?
I don't want to disparage what you're saying at all, because I see what you're saying and I agree that Batman should come from that darker place. But I think my pushback here is one really quick, because I think we do see Christian Bale. I mean, we watch a fundraiser in Dark Knight. He has he shows up with models on his arm from a helicopter, and it's all a facade, so people never will suspect him. I get that, but what we see of Bruce Wayne here, when you really look at it, it's not like he's overly charming. He's awkward. He's stilted. He literally pretends he's not himself when Vicky Vale asks for him. And
flirtatious,
and he can't even. He's struggling
hide your true identity. Flirtation.
He's struggling to like verbalize to her that he's Batman. At that one point, like when that's one of my favorite scenes in the movie is when he's like how like a normal person has a job and a person that they kiss goodbye. And he like can't. It's like so foreign to him. That's why it's like, and he's really awkward in that sense, and like. I think I read somewhere I read in an article that was talking about this movie that there's even like that one part where Alfred's like, oh, I sense a weight is lifted when Vicky's here, and Bruce is like, she is amazing, isn't she, or whatever, Alfred or whatever. And it's not like, you can almost read that like him not being like, wow, she's amazing, but almost him like just recognizing from like a cold third person view that Vicky Vale would qualify as amazing, and this would be the person that he should try to be with or whatever. But it's not like coming from a place of like genuine warm love.
I don't see it like that. I see it more like she's amazing, but it's not going to work out because
Look at the scene. Look at the scene where Alfred lets her into the Batcave, which we can have a discussion about that later. Alfred in this movie sucks. But
dude, he lets Bruce down pretty bad.
Worst wingman in the world.
I'm going out of town for a few days. Vicky immediately, Alfred, I'll see you in a few days. He goes, we're not leaving.
We're not going anywhere in this film. He says it with such a shit-eating little grin too, just blowing up his dude's spot. Either way, but like when she comes in when he lets her into the Batcave, he's not like, I'm sorry, I should have told you. I mean, he is cold. He's cold even then. He's just like, yeah, sure, I'd like to try to love each other, but like I can't do this right now. Like, and it's I don't see him as like happy. I don't see him. He doesn't radiate happy to me like you seem to think he does.
I think he's campy in a way that the rest of the Batmans we've gotten aren't. And we associate camp with a little bit more joy.
And like a little bit more, yeah. I think yeah.
But I can agree with Zach in that Keaton does play him kind of like this really awkward dude. And there's that scene where like Napier like is like shooting and he just doesn't know what to do. So he walks up to his car.
Yeah. Literally
he feels as out of place as Bruce Wayne, which is the point. Like there's the whole scene in The Dark Knight where Selina's like, oh, what mask are you wearing? And he responds, Bruce Wayne. And that's the point. Batman's the identity.
Right.
Bruce Wayne is the secret identity.
And I understand that. I just don't know if they did enough in this movie to make me feel like he is putting on a facade with this. And like those awkward moments, I felt like those were almost more like than they were like he doesn't know how to be around people and it's socially isolating because it's not him trying to separate himself. Those awkward moments are him trying to be a part of the world, you know? Whether I think that one scene between him and Vicky when they first meet and she's like, do you know which one's Bruce Wayne? And he was like, I'm not sure, you know? I thought that was more flirtatious than it was like him not knowing to act around her. I will say when he was trying to tell her that he's Batman, that came off of like he is nervous to take that step, but it's not like I don't know how to talk to people correctly. He's just like I'm stumbling over my words because I like her and like I want to tell someone about this part of me. And I feel like I don't want to keep tying it back because Cole, when you brought it to Dark Knight, I think the point that you made was right, but I think it was like kind of missing. Like that's what they're trying to do in this one, and they're not quite doing it. But like tying it back to the Dark Knight and tying it back to the Batman and even Ben Affleck's Batman, I don't think those portrayals of Batman would have had those scenes, you know, with Vicky. I don't think they could have, like, if Vicky would have come up and asked like which one's Batman, I feel like they would have been like I'm Bruce Wayne. Why? Or something like that. They would have been very. Why? They would have been like it would have been like it would have been cold. It would have been like come in, get what do you need, and then leave. Like that's kind of what it would have been.
I mean, in Batman Begins, we have the scene where you have the identity reveal through the dialogue, which is really well done. But we've never seen a Batman other than this one that is also kind of, I don't know, they skip the origin story in favor of this unique mystery, which I didn't really think about that till this. They do the origin story, but it's through the eyes of Knox and Vicky Vale as they're trying to discover who Bruce Wayne is. We get the origin story of who Batman is. And I don't know. I feel like the origin story is how we get Bruce Wayne, but I think Burton's stylistic choice to put the origin story as the mystery kind of leads us to like, okay, this guy's gonna be awkward. He doesn't really know who he is. He sleeps with this woman and she wakes up in the middle of the night and he's hanging from his ab crunch machine.
What was that?
I'm of a mind make some moogie, guys.
I knew this would come up.
Make some moogie.
He's just so dark and twisted, Corey. And sometimes when
he needs to sleep upside down.
And this is a guy that you think is normal and happy, and he has to get out of bed and hang upside down like a bat.
No. Okay, you have a point there.
But
okay,
he's awkward. That's just my point.
Yeah.
Affleck's more
think
humanizing.
I do read him as Cole. You mentioned that we're kind of like we keep his identity a mystery. We're jumped into him already as Batman. We're not doing the origin story. I take you back to 1989. Okay, we've lived in a pop culture where Batman's like the biggest superhero in the world, besides maybe Spider-Man.
10 years before we were born.
The
1989.
only Batman movie made is the Adam West Batman and the TV show that was also that same brand. That is overall the general public perception of Batman. That over the top, silly Batman. And then like Batman and Robin, whole thing. And even they have a silly version of the Joker there too. Now the comics were getting dark. The comics were dark, and this is much more in line with what the comics that were coming out at the time. I'd have to look at it again. I don't know if Long Halloween had already come out by this point.
I think Long Halloween was. I'm looking it up right now. Batman: A Long Halloween 13-issue series.
I might reread that.
Debuted in 1996. So Long Halloween didn't come out.
All right. Well, then what? There might be year one or something. Either way,
this.
they had the comics were dark is the point, and so. But introducing audiences to this version of the character, this was completely new to the overall general public. That because the comic book culture was not as prevalent as it is now with just how big superhero movies are in general. So like the only big superhero movie that had come out to this point were the Richard Donner Superman movies. So that it's not like just a pop culture staple. So like for the general public, this version of Batman, this dark version of Batman, is a mystery to people, and we are kind of kept at arm's length, both from Bruce Wayne. Like we don't meet Bruce Wayne until 18 minutes into the movie.
Mm-hmm.
We meet Batman, and then we meet Bruce Wayne later. But like we are learning this version of Gotham, this version of Batman, along like for the first time. We never seen it dark like this. I think is just the mindset that we have to have when we're watching it like this. And I think we do like we're peeling back the layers of the psychology there, and we do the late flashback reveal with the death of the parents, and we can talk about that later because I do have not perfect thoughts on that. The way with what they do there, but I think this Michael Keaton, like the duality between Bruce Wayne and Batman here, I think they're tapping into that psychology for the first time here. Now I haven't watched the Adam West Batman, but I assume it doesn't get that in deep with what makes him tick. You can see that there's something underneath the surface here with Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne that makes him weird and make him want to go out at night dressed like a bat and beat up criminals. And I think you see it again with Robert Pattinson in the Batman Land. He's a weirdo, and I think he embraces how weird he is in the Batman. Whereas in this, I feel like he is almost ashamed of it, and he's just like, but he accepts it. That's kind of the read I get here. And then with the Christian Bale ones, it comes, and this is not me criticizing it because I do love those movies, but him becoming Batman feels more like moral motivation, not psychological scarring, if that makes sense. Not like, oh, he's weird, so he has to dress up like a bat and beat up people, which is kind of how I get Michael Keaton. I think Michael Keaton and Robert Pattinson are more alike than Christian. Like I think Christian Bale is farther from those two in terms of how the origin story of it all.
I would agree with you there because Nolan just doesn't. He takes the moral ground of what Batman is, which I think works for his movies, but it doesn't work for a movie like this, and it damn sure wouldn't work in Matt Reeves' version because it's about how Batman is basically an addiction for Bruce Wayne. Like doing this has become his sole purpose. And you kind of see it here because we don't get a life outside of Batman besides dating Vicky Vale, which I think is better used than it would have been in a movie like Christian Bale's, like in Christopher Nolan's trilogy.
Yeah. Either way, I think the overall thing, though, I think you kind of nailed it when you said like it's a mystery, like that we're kind of uncovering there, because I think I feel like Bruce Wayne is not our driving protagonist of the movie. We're not like with Bruce Wayne. We're discovering the plot with Bruce Wayne. We are discovering Bruce Wayne, like, if that makes sense, and we're discovering Batman. I don't know. It sounds like I'm like just BSing right now, but it makes sense in my head. But he's not like, we don't really get to know him and like feel like we're with Bruce Wayne for this plot. He's part of the fabric of this Gotham City that we're exploring. And honestly, I would be very confident that Joker gets more screen time in this movie than Bruce Wayne does. I would have to fact check that. Well, definitely more than Bruce Wayne. I don't know if you count Bruce Wayne and Batman, then maybe not. But this really is like Joker's movie when you really get down to it. So I think that's also a big part of why it might feel like we're not really getting to know.
Jack
Batman.
Nicholson is the top billed star.
That's also because he's the far bigger actor as well.
I mean,
at that
yeah,
point,
but
yeah.
You often bill your protagonist on a different level than your antagonist, and I mean, Jack Nicholson at this point in time, I think he had however many Oscar nominations, had won one for Cuckoo's Nest. I mean, he was probably the biggest name on the call sheet every single day, him and his friend.
The call
who
sheet.
He wouldn't do the movie without his buddy who played Bob.
Yeah, okay.
You
Bob
are my number one guy.
Yeah, him pulling that back from the Jack Palance character is great. Talking about Joker here. I think part of what I always pulled me to this movie growing up is the Joker stuff of it all. That was always cooler. Like all the fun scenes I remember loving, looking forward to were Joker scenes. And like there's an interview where Jack Nicholson is talking about his role as the Joker here. And I don't remember exactly what he says, but it's something along the lines of like, oh, like I got to really try to scare kids with that. And he's like, and the more you scare them, the more they love it. And that it is really, I think that the quote really is something like that. And I think that is part of it. Like like we said, it's an adult movie, but it's an adult movie that kids can watch because, it's still Batman. But the Joker is not, they make it clear here, like, which I'm sure, again, I haven't watched the Adam West Batman stuff, but I'm sure it's far less violent and far less homicidal. He's killing people left and right. This guy is genuinely a maniac. This guy is out of his fucking mind. And you do feel like he is very dangerous, and he is so fun to watch. I mean, he is dialed up to like 11 here. I mean, it's kind of like the line in the movie where he says
the
like
gala scene is.
Yeah. That was always one of my favorites. But like there was like one of the lines in the movie that kind of sums it up of just like the dynamic between like Batman and Joker in this movie. Like when Joker is like, can you tell me what kind of world we live in where a man dressed as a bat takes all of my press or whatever? And it's because they're both just absurd. And it is because like that he's just a lot of fun. It's eccentric. He's eccentric, every scene is quotable with him. Every line delivery is interesting. And they're both freaks, just on opposite ends of the spectrum, like one's completely shrouded in darkness and quiet, Batman. And then one is bright poppy colors, literally clowning around, Joker. So that's why they're, like in terms of like hero villain dynamics, it's probably my favorite.
Clowning around.
In all their iterations, that was intentional. And like all their iterations throughout all these different, Batman movies, it's like Joker Batman relationship is pretty perfect, I think. The Killing Joke's all about it. If you ever read that comic, that was a good one.
Yeah, and I think Joker as a character is probably one of the better villains that you can put to screen because he is so chaotic and you can do so much with him. Through all the iterations we've seen, you have Jack Nicholson's, you have Heath Ledger's, you have Leto's for all of its flaws, and Barry Keoghan's from
Mark
the
Hamill.
deleted scene from the Batman, which I'm actually very excited about. I mean, I think...
Is he officially in?
I think so. I
the
think
next
he
one?
is. I mean, we can talk to death about what we want to see in the Batman Part 2, which I believe is the working title, but I mean, the Joker is just such a unique character because you can, like you said, Zach, you can make him campy and you can make him fun, but you can also make him terrifying.
Yeah. And I think Jack Nicholson walks that line. Yeah.
Toes the line.
Mm-hmm.
You were delayed, but we said that at the same time. I love that.
Cute. I mean, when he walks in there, like to what's his face?
Which scene?
What's the guy's name? Grissom. When he walks into Grissom's office after becoming, after the famous plastic surgery scene, which by the way, I love the look of that whole just basement surgery room with those gross tools and the neon light
sequence.
Yeah, that's great. When he walks in there, and he's like in the shadows, and he goes like, "Oh, Crystal goes like, is that you, Sugar Bumps?" And the way he responds like, "It's me, Sugar Bumps," or whatever. Like his delivery of that, followed by carnival sounds of him shooting him like behind his back and doing all these tricks and stuff.
I mean, yeah. I love his portrayal of the Joker. Of course, I love a grounded Joker, but there's something about this wildly campy guy who has tasers that can legitimately kill you on his hand that is so enthralling, I think would be a good word to describe like how it like just takes you in. And I think Burton is the perfect guy to bring that to life because, I mean, same year makes or maybe a year before makes Beetlejuice, and the character of the Joker is essentially like dialed up to 11, just like Beetlejuice.
It is crazy that you can tell something has Tim Burton on it when you watch it. Like that is it's so in the characters, like you were saying with the Joker and Beetlejuice, but also like in the scenery. Like, did he do Beetlejuice?
Yeah.
I was gonna say I watched that one not too long ago, and that one's the exact same. Like the scenery to it, there's just a certain aspect about it that I can't quite tell. Like it's like, I don't know, exaggerated realism almost, where it's like it's real, but it's also like cartoony, and like if it's a toy horse, it's like a huge toy horse that also looks like really used, but it's like a toy horse that you could imagine in your room. It's just enormous.
The face is somehow disfigured.
Well, because
like
it's used, and so it's like disfigured in a way that makes sense for how it's being used, and then it's also like the colors are somehow vibrant but also dull. Like I just don't understand. But there's like this very specific way that he like paints scenes and paints like how like how it looks, and like it's definitely there with this one. And you get like Beetlejuice, the one I know from the most, and Edward Scissorhands. Is that right? Yeah, he did
Edward 40 Hands. Yes.
He did that one. Like I just don't understand how like you get something like that. That's just something that I mean, Zach, you'd probably know more than I would, like how you capture something like that. But it blows my mind how consistent it is and how it all like it draws you in. To be honest, like the story of what was going on, I was interested in like as you said, Cole, the mystery of finding out who Bruce Wayne and Batman like is, in a sense that they were trying to uncover. But like the story as a whole, like I don't know if it got me that interested, to be honest.
Actually, I agree. I think the weakest aspect of this movie probably is the script, and probably specifically in the latter half, the story does kind of fizzle out to a very simple, Joker's bad, I gotta stop him. And that's pretty much what it comes down to. Like, that's literally it. There's not like a very, yeah, and honestly, and this would be a good point to bring it up because it is at the intersection of Batman and Joker, and their relationship here is the decision to make Joker the one who killed Batman's parents. I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of that decision. I think it kind of almost makes the world feel smaller, and it kind of reduces the end to just now it's personal. Now it's revenge. And not that it's not entirely without, positives. I think one positive is the fact that we see the young version of Jack. Also, he is accompanied by the young version of Bob, which tells me that him and Bob have been together that whole time, which means when Joker gets frustrated about the balloons and then he just decides to kill Bob, he is killing a friend he has had for the past like 25 years or whatever. So that's one added layer from that scene. But besides that, I really, I just don't need that. I don't think that offers up enough. And I think they have to do that because there's not enough narrative meat on the bone to really sustain throughout the end. Now, even then though, even with, I think the plot's not great at the end. It's not that engaging on the page. I still think it's very entertaining because of that Tim Burton aesthetic that you were talking about, because I still think it looks great. I still have a lot of fun with the balloons. We still have the Prince song. We still have a really cool Gothic church. Yeah.
I think he wrote those for the movie. Yeah.
Yeah. There is Prince has a Batman soundtrack album. And
I love
Corey, I got a question for you.
I'm going to write that down so I remember that for the fourth annual Lodies.
What film that we covered on this podcast specifically out loud references Prince's Batman soundtrack?
Oh, Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know.
If I tell you the next line, it'll make it really easy.
One
character goes, the Batman soundtrack. And then And the next character goes, throw it.
Does he actually say that?
Purple Rain. No. The Batman soundtrack. Throw it.
You gotta tell me. I can't think
Shaun
of
of the
it.
Dead.
Court.
That's right. That's right.
She's
Yes.
so drunk.
That's I remember.
Drunk. Yeah. Okay, but yeah, you're right, Corey. But the Burton aesthetic is really consistent throughout all these, especially these early movies, and you can still kind of see his style in the new movie. That's why I think Beetlejuice is like my favorite Tim Burton movie in a while. And you know, little tease. I've only have a few Burton movies left that I've never seen. So I think by the time we record Batman Returns, kind of like I did with the Raimi thing, I might have an entire Burton filmography ranking to dish out on you guys.
Oh, did you watch a new one after you watched this one?
Yes. What did I watch recently? Oh God, what was it?
Well, we can get into
I watched
that later.
Dumbo and I watched Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I'm kind of getting some of the later ones.
The animated Dumbo?
No,
the live action Dumbo. He made a live action Dumbo.
He did the live action Dumbo with Michael Keaton and Danny DeVito and Eva Green.
There's
I haven't seen that
there's
one.
like this really sad
It's
quote where
It's
it's like where Danny basically goes, I felt like I let him down on Dumbo. Because he
Danny's not the
loves
problem on Dumbo.
he loves Tim Burton so much. He's just like, I feel like I let him down.
Either way, I think Tim Burton is kind of like in the way that Sam Raimi is like the perfect choice to make a Spider-Man movie, just because of that kinetic filmmaking and like the possibilities that are there for you from an action standpoint with a character of Spider-Man's abilities. We talked all about that. From the I'm an outcast, I'm weird, I like darkness point of view with aspect of Batman. That's very Tim Burton. Like, you know, he likes the outcast. He likes, he likes the kid that's hidden in the basement drawing by himself or whatever. You know, like that's what a lot of his stuff revolves around. Like Edward Scissorhands, it's about feeling different. Ed Wood, it was, you know, kind of an outcast filmmaker in Hollywood. It's another great Tim Burton movie. And then, you know, just obviously the eccentricities of Beetlejuice, you can kind of see some of that maybe even carry over into Joker here, like the character Beetlejuice, I mean. So, I mean, it really does feel like this was like the match made in heaven in terms of like Tim Burton doing a Batman movie. And I don't think we're talking about this movie if it's like, you know, some guy with less of a distinct
if
artistic
it's
vision.
Ron Howard, like not to shit on Ron Howard, but I don't watch his movies and think there's like an aesthetic there, you know?
Yeah. Corey, I mean, Cole, you said earlier, like, though, it's like a mix of like, you know, you brought up like noir, like 40s noir or whatever, right? You said something like that. Like a lot,
I
like the
said
mobsters.
retro future, but it's like still the 40s almost.
Yeah,
Like,
because I mean, they're wearing like pinstripe suits, like the gangsters are, and so that's a clear aesthetic choice, and you're matching that with like again, Prince, like a very 80s, very 80s aesthetic also mixed into this. Like the Vicky Vale character is all, you know, very modern for that time, you know, kind of chic or whatever, and so it's a kind of a fun amalgamation of that, and you know, just all the way they light scenes with the shadows and all that. It's just the sets are beautiful, the cinematography is great, the lighting is great, all that. You know, this is an early contender for next year's Lodies in terms of cinematography production design. I'll tell you that. This is on the short list.
So I have a question for you guys. Is this your favorite version of Gotham City? Out of all the ones that we have gotten, is this the one that you like look at and think this is the most distinct? This is the one that is just beyond any of the others in terms.
Continuing into Batman Returns, yes. You know, because they expanded even more there.
Yeah.
You know, we see
And
like
then-
the Frozen Zoo and all the other stuff in the next movie. Yeah.
And then by the time Schumacher gets his hands on
It's
it,
a whole
it's
different animal.
neon everything.
That's a whole different Gotham City at that point.
Yeah, I think I agree. Just because this one feels like it's the most unique, and when you see like comparing it to the modern ones, it's very just like here's a city. Besides Robert Pattinson's, I feel like that one is the most like closely related to this one, which is a reason I really like it because
honestly, overall as a movie, because I was saying that with the Batman. I think those are the most closely connected Batmans, and I think aesthetically with the Gotham. Yeah, you're right. It's very linked.
It's very close. I think that's what I liked that part of it, and so I like that. I like that they pulled that from this one because I think that one, like I said, the story didn't necessarily grab me too much, and Zach, we talked about that for a second, but like the aesthetics of it definitely kept you in it, and so the city and how Gotham looks is a huge part of that.
Yeah, and with the Dark Knight trilogy, it's just Chicago, so it's hard to
Chicago
be like
mixed with like Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Just because they filmed the scene in Pittsburgh doesn't mean it's mixed with Pittsburgh.
And then
That's exactly what it means.
Ben Affleck's Gotham's really not even that well defined. You know, like it's so hard to tell the difference of when they're there, when they're in Metropolis, what's good, what's bad. Like it's really hard. Like you just hear about it, and so that doesn't. I don't know if that doesn't.
Yeah, it's basically all we know about Gotham is it's the worst city in America through the dialogue of crime in Gotham. In other news, water wet.
Yeah, and they don't do any work to paint it out.
Yeah, I'm actually, and this brings up a follow-up. So it's been said that Andy Muschietti, is that how you pronounce that? The guy who directed it, developed.
It's actually Muschietti.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know.
Sorry to our Italian listeners.
I don't think
tough one.
he's Italian. Anyway,
he is now.
So he is a horror director. Would you be excited for his vision of what Gotham City could be?
No, because The Flash was flat gray nothingness.
Oh, he did The Flash?
Yeah, it was very CGI.
Remember, James Gunn said
it.
it's one of the best superhero movies he's ever seen, and so he took
James Gunn said that.
Yeah, well, he was, that's what he said. That was his public statement about it, and so that's an official thing James Gunn said, put out there, said, James Gunn, believe that. And then we're supposed to believe things he says from now on. Like when he says lanterns is going to be, what did you say? True Detective-esque, Cole? When you were like taking that I saw lanterns and it's like True Detective. You said The Flash is one of the best superhero movies ever made. I do not care what you say about this show. Your integrity for what you're promoting is gone. I still like them. I'll watch it, but
is that the whole? Didn't they get someone else that's like very controversial and like why would you not controversial in the?
It was Ezra Miller.
No, but they got someone else. Like James Gunn got someone else for like the Batman show or Batman movie or whatever it's going to be. That was just like that person sucks.
Oh, he hired the screenwriter for Birds of Prey and The Flash.
Maybe that's what I was thinking of. Birds of Prey wasn't bad. I was gonna say
I was a big fan of Birds of Prey.
I don't think it was breaking any records by like moving up my list, but it was definitely for what they were making at the time. It was breath of fresh air.
I think Ewan McGregor's Roman Sionis is an underrated superhero movie villain.
Black Mask. Yeah.
These are my things speech is one of my favorite. Like,
I
just
kind of forget about that movie. It's kind of slipped under my subconscious rug a little bit, if you will, and I have to dust it out and watch it again. I actually own it. I forgot that I own it, so that tells you something. That it showed up, burned bright, and then fizzled away quickly because I liked it enough to I gotta get this, and then bought it, and I've not once opened it
or thought about it since.
I forgot it existed for a solid amount of time. I saw there was one of those pretty much nothing burger type of news tweets that because publications need clicks, they need to act like things are news, but it's Sam Raimi said in an interview that he would love to do a Batman movie, and it's you know what, I'll engage, and I'd tweeted James Gunn, I beg of you, please just give Brave and the Bold to Sam Raimi and not Andy Muschietti, please. So that would be something unique. I think I would like to see it. I would like to see that.
Why can't we just get different people instead of it feels like we're just recycling. I don't want to get down this rabbit hole, but Sam Raimi has now done 2 different superhero movies or 2 different superhero franchises where he did Doctor Strange and Spider-Man. I'm not poo-pooing on either of them, but it's let's do something different. Let's get someone new. Let's get a new perspective in there. We've seen what Sam Raimi can do. We've seen what this guy
Muschietti can do.
I was gonna say this guy from The Flash. We've seen what he can do. Let's get something different in there until even with the getting into the Russo brothers doing Avengers 5 or Avengers Doomsday. I'm the reason we got to the Avengers Infinity War is because you were mixing it up every single time. You were trying to change it up, find something new, and it's we're never going to get above the anyway.
Corey, no, I don't want to get
too much into it.
I'm so glad you brought that up because that is a perfect segue into something that I have.
That's better.
Here. You brought up they're bringing back the Russos. I mean, because they're the safe bet for Marvel. And they will.
Electric State was great.
They will find something. They will create something that is very much aligned with Marvel's established aesthetic. It's probably not going to be anything too bold. It'll be bold in the sense they brought back this character. Wow, it won't be bold in a actual filmmaking sense. And that's kind of where we are now because at the end of the day, they're trying to create maximum profit for the movie. And I'm not saying they're monsters for doing so, but it just seems we kind of talked about this on the Stranger Things episode. you would create the movie first and you would assume the best movie will make the money. And now it's like, okay, we have to make the money. Let's formulate the movie that will fit what, our algorithm says will create that. It seems like the Russo brothers, just some comments they made before, they seem very much in the content brained sort of modern filmmaker, very much aligned with that, like kind of that philosophy. I have a long quote here from that article that I brought up earlier.
Let's hear it.
Can you
about
have
this?
It?
No.
I want to hear it all.
I think it's really well written, and it's talking about these early superhero movies, and it specifically references Richard Donner's Superman, Michael Keaton's Batman, this one, or Tim Burton's Batman is how I should phrase it, and then Sam Raimi's first Spider-Man. 3 very distinct directors with their own visions of what they bring to those characters and like what they bring to those movies, and why those feel they still feel singular now in the wave of all these superhero movies that we get now. Okay, so buckle up. I think this is really well written, and I'll try to read it quickly, but I think it really is a good it summarizes a lot of what we're saying in a very
every 15 seconds Corey gets to say faster.
Here we go. And how it guides us through and introduces these characters so singular and distinctive in its voice and perspective. It is, in short, made as a movie first and as a product for a pre-existing fan base second. That order is typically reversed today, if the first consideration is present at all. But this sense of being a film, an artistic statement and experience unto itself and on its own merits, rather as something existing primarily within a larger commercial narrative or metatextual framework, is also the sensibility one gets from revisiting Richard Donner's original Superman or Sam Raimi's original Spider-Man. These aren't necessarily the 3 greatest superhero movies ever made. Batman and Spider-Man are both outclassed by their sequels, which are very possibly the genre's 2 most accomplished live-action entries, but they are, to me, the 3 load-bearing pillars that lay the foundations for the genre, because they are the ones that tried to crack the superhero film as films, as cinematic statements, as distinctive works by interesting individual filmmakers actively responding to, interpreting, and shaping the material, rather than work-for-hire functionaries checking boxes determined by a committee. These are movies from a time before superhero films were really a genre, or before the associated commercial framework had solidified around them, so there wasn't yet a strict playbook or stringent set of conventions. Without those expectations or concerns filling in the space of the movie, the personality of the filmmaker and a broader set of cinematic and artistic reference get to flourish. Almost done, I swear. These are films only the specific artists at these exact points in their careers could or would have made. There is no other path to the uniqueness of what they are. And so they are pictures that stand tall on their own and that I love not only in spite of, but in some cases because of their flaws and imperfections.
Did you write the article?
No. If I wish I could write that well. I think that's written really well. But
let's cite our sources here. Who wrote that?
Yeah, I should give credit to that because that is very
cite our source. Cite our sources.
Where'd it go?
Nice show.
Here it is. It's a long article written by Jonathan R. Lack on his Substack, it looks like. So I read the whole article. I thought it was really well. And it doesn't just worship the movie. It points out the flaws, specifically script-wise. But I think that section there, kind of accounts for why this movie is still fun to revisit and why it feels so different from superhero movies now.
And this movie also, it checked the boxes for what used to piss people off back before the internet, where we had this whole platform to now shit on directorial choices. People were pissed Tim Burton got picked to do this movie. They were pissed Michael Keaton was cast as Batman.
I definitely heard about that. Yeah, because he's a comedy guy. They just assumed he was just a comedy guy.
He was, and this kind of checks the boxes. Nowadays, I remember when we heard Robert Pattinson was going to be Batman.
I was kind of
excited.
Yeah, I was pretty excited.
But you had the whole Twitterscape of, Twilight guy going to be Batman.
Damn right.
That was the point we were at in time. And yeah, it came out a lot better than anyone could have expected, but...
Zach, going back to that, I really like what he said about how the original Superman, Spider-Man, and this one being the 3 pillars of what each one trying to do something different to try to crack their way into figuring out what a superhero movie within cinema looks like, and not just forcing a superhero movie for the fact
Cinema.
to have a superhero movie. I really like that part. That's it's sitting with me. I don't really have too much of a response to that specific part right now.
I will send you the full quote, and you can read it over. It's probably easier to just read it and contextualize rather than me reading it at you. But
no. I mean, I was trying to listen. I was trying to take it in as much as possible. But yeah, you could send it to me for sure. I was gonna say, looking. I was gonna say, damn it, it was really profound. Now I forgot it completely.
It's okay.
No, it's good.
I feel like Vicky Vale when he's like struggling to get it out, and I get to lean forward, like, "Hey, it's okay. You can tell me."
I was gonna try to tie it back to the MCU a little bit and kind of talk about in that aspect, since that's what we see a lot of. But like even early on, I felt like they were trying to kind of find footing, and now, I mean, it's gotten away, as that article kind of points out, where it's like, even if that even is a consideration. But you know what? I think in a sense, it feels like the superhero movie genre has kind of adopted that since the MCU was so big, and now it's like that's where every studio needs like a big superhero type movie that's like analytically going to make us the most money. You know what? If it's just that genre, I think that's a worthy sacrifice. I think like if you can get like a good drama, maybe even comedies, I think are kind of reverting back. It used to be the comedy genre that was kind of engulfed by that mindset, but now I feel like that's kind of been let go because so many people stopped going to see those comedies, and I think it just goes in cycles. Yeah. And I'm fully willing to accept superhero movies are no longer going to be something that people can go to and expect something great.
Yeah, like I remember our movie debate group chat on Snapchat was basically
you don't have to shout out Snapchat. There was no need to.
It was Marvel. That was it. We talked about like our fan theories.
Yeah,
and
there was a healthy dose of Star Wars, but then eventually that got relegated to its own Star Wars chat. Both of which now have been ran into the ground just by oversaturation. So, and maybe just decline in quality as a result of that. So like that's, it's a depressing look at it. But yeah, I mean, it's not like, I'm giving up on superhero movies. Cause like I said, there's still like, I'm amped for Batman Part 2 because that does feel like it has a singular aesthetic vision. That's not like just copy and pasted, lifted from, its fellow films. Like if you looked at like, characters that you recognize, like characters that are in the movie aside, if you looked at a screen grab from Captain America, Brave New World, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and the She-Hulk TV show, aesthetically, you would not be able to tell me what we're looking at, like which one. You know what I mean? Like, and I just picked a few out of the hat there. So
and I think about like the early MCU from like the first Iron Man to Iron Man 2 to Captain America.
Can you send a quote? Sorry.
The first Avenger. Yeah. There was a different aesthetic each movie, and it felt, unique in its own way. I think
first Avenger maybe, but
the first Iron Man had its own like gritty vibe.
Well, that's because it was the first one
that I think has since been lost on the whole thing. And then you get that back with James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy, which is dirty but also has this like,
but now all the movies look like Guardians of the Galaxy,
exactly.
It's like that worked out so well, so now they adopted that, and so now every movie has that aspect. And so now, like, if you look at Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness, and I know that's a Sam Raimi movie, but it's still it's still like visually looks like every other movie that became before. And you couldn't like if you saw Captain America: The First Avenger and you saw Sam Raimi's Multiverse of Madness, you would be able to loosely connect them to be in the same kind of filmmaking because like everything that worked for like that people have liked from each movie, they just pull out and they say we need 10% of this, 20% of this, whatever. And so I mean but that's why it all looks like that. And have we got like when was the last? And I don't mean to make this a referendum on MCU because I mean we looked at it as at the time of like, well, this is going to be something that sticks around forever. But even looking at it as like, let's do it as a referendum of Batman. Like, did Matt Reeves take the aspect of Gotham from Tim Burton? Because I feel like it was not directly lifted and put into it, but like very loosely. Did he do that because that was his stylistic choice, or did he do that because it was like, no, people really like those movies and we want to connect it back? Like it gets into almost that aspect. I think
it's just a mindset. I think it's just a mindset of who's making the movie. Of like, I think Matt Reeves, is just like, okay, There's just more
Right.
care. You don't have to. You're not forced to align it with our pre-established universe because that's honestly part of the pitfalls of the MCU. The beauty of it was that it was all connected, so it did feel that you did have that shared history with every movie. But then, honestly, it became a trap aesthetically because you really couldn't separate yourself much. With Matt Reeves on its own, that was so. That's why it's allowed to do those things. And I wish the MCU would just loosen its grip and just stop caring so much about all of it being so uniform, and then we could get more unique things. And I'm sure we've had this conversation before, so I won't keep going on it. But like that's also why I don't. People are like, oh, I want Robert Pattinson's Batman to be in the new Superman James Gunn universe. Like, God,
No.
please, no. Please just let it be its own thing.
Yeah,
Because the
just 'cause
second you
we've done that.
expand that universe, then it will just minimize everything that's happening in
I
Robert
think
Pattinson's
the
Gotham
best
City.
thing James Gunn did was saying, like, no, that's its story. Matt has his universe and his stories to tell. And I thought that was great because we got the Penguin out of that, which I think is
sure,
a
but,
phenomenal show. And
It's just the aspect of one of my favorite parts about the Batman, like the new The Batman, is that he is a freak. He's a weirdo. He's like the only one going out at night, or he's the only vigilante, doing stuff like this. So people look at him like a weirdo. If he's part of a larger shared universe where superheroes are all over the place, then he's just another one, and it just makes him less interesting.
yeah, and I think that's what this movie does well. It's like
Yep.
he's going to scare people. Like,
Mhm.
yeah. And that's also something that they said with Superman when they were designing the costume for the new Superman. It was like trunks or no trunks. It was this really long debate. And James Gunn was like, he doesn't want people to be scared of him. He wants to kind of look like he's this approachable guy. And you can do that with Superman. Batman, he's supposed to be scary. What's the quote? I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman. That's how he sees himself.
Yeah, and this one, it's I want you to tell all your friends about me.
Tell everyone.
Bring him down.
Batman's in town now, you see?
I love the when he's kind of like this urban legend here in Gotham City. I love the Knox quote, like, oh, Commissioner, is there a 6-foot bat in Gotham City? And if so, is he on the police payroll? And if so, what's he pulling down after taxes? I do have here in my notes.
Yeah.
Ask Corey about Alexander Knox. It seems like the type of character that you would have thoughts on.
Well, I was excited when I saw him because I was like, oh my gosh, this guy's, I heard he's getting an HBO Max show. Is that right? That he's getting his own. It's going to be called Knocks at the Door or something like that, I believe. And he's going to be a boots on the ground reporter. I thought that's what it was. I was excited
I'd watch it. Oh, I'd watch it.
No, I could see why you thought that. I did not have too many thoughts on him. I thought he was a fun.
I think he was
the character that, what's his name, Jimmy Olsen in the Superman. I thought it was a very similar character. And I was like, he plays his role well. He doesn't overstay his welcome. He has good lines. He's very whatever Vicky needs. He's like, oh, we can get it done, and then I can take you to dinner. And she says, nope. Boop, and she boops him on the nose and walks away.
Robert
spray bottle
Wool.
for him, but it never gets creepy either. It's not like, oh, he's harassing her.
The best one was like, hey, maybe after this I could take you to dinner and I could pay for your dinner. And she says, nope. And then he's like, well, maybe we can go for a drink and you can pay for my drink. And she says, okay. And then he's like, okay, I'm good. I won't drink much.
He goes, how about you buy me lunch or whatever? And she's like, maybe. And he's like, I eat light.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's what it is. I love his casual, when he meets Bruce Wayne, when Bruce Wayne reveals himself in that hall of different, stuff that he's got.
This guy must be king of the Wicker people.
Well, sure, there's that, but then when he actually meets Bruce Wayne, he's like, oh, Knox, Alexander Knox, and he's like, yeah, I like your work. He's like, oh, great, can I have a grant or whatever?
Yes.
And then what a flex by Bruce when he's like, oh, and Alfred, give Knox a grant or whatever. Yeah. It's just awesome, awesome. Big fan of that.
You don't get what you don't ask for, and he definitely asks for things.
And then you know what he says, and it kind of goes. I forgot to bring this up earlier, and he's like, why he's that weird? Because he can afford to be. So it's like he is weird. I swear, Bruce Wayne is weird to them. They acknowledge he's weird.
I just wish they would have done more to portray him as weird.
I
might be
think
Michael
they do
Keaton,
that
just a tough
so
guy.
well in the first date scene Like he thinks it's normal to have this long
It's a great
table,
gag.
and they're trying to talk about the soup, and she goes, "Do you ever eat dinner in here?" And he goes, "No."
Because I've never been in the room. He said, I don't think I've ever been in this room before.
And then they have that. I love that scene where they like go to eat with Alfred. That is
It's a nice Alfred
also
scene.
a little. That's a character choice that brings in like the fact that, okay, he's really awkward. He really needed a wingman, and Alfred tells all these sweet stories to kind of humanize him in the eyes of Vicky Vale.
Alfred bringing Vicky into that damn bat cave is unforgivable. And it also just robs you of Bruce having the agency to A, do it himself, or B, Vicky having a way to find out herself, and then that how interesting that scene could have been. Now, I think once they, kind of meet there, and I kind of like the scene, and I really do kind of get amped though, like, oh, but he's out there right now and I have to go to work. Like, that's a great kind of final line before the last act. But like the Alfred, that's just such a narrative shortcut, and it shortchanges Alfred as a character for him to betray that trust of Bruce to bring her in there like that. I do not like that choice. Do not like it. Do not like it, Sam. I am.
You do not like green eggs and ham?
I surely do not. Before we move on, just the fun general questions of like, Corey, do you have any favorite? What's your favorite sequence from this movie? I wrote it down as what's your favorite Joker scene, because I almost feel like all my favorite scenes have Joker in it. Because like what we said earlier, he kind of dominates the movie. He's kind of like the screen presence. I can go first just to give you time to think about it for a second.
Go ahead.
I think honestly the scene we brought it up earlier where Bruce goes to Vicky's place to tell her the truth, and first she's hostile toward him because he's been ghosting her, and then he has to sit her down and say shut up or whatever, and then tries to awkwardly go through his explanation. But then when Joker shows up and they've tried to redo this, they recapture this magic in the Flash, and it just falls so flat for me. But that Bruce Wayne freak out,
Come on, let's get nuts.
is that's probably my favorite moment of the movie, is just the he got his lights out. You want to get nuts like that? Like I'm probably gonna make it like the opening quote of the episode, so like I'm not gonna have to put it here. But yeah, that part gets me amped. Now I know I brought it up in Glass Onion. I don't like it when characters are saved from a bullet because they had something under their shirt. This one is playing
Here
by...
it's okay, because Zach grew up with this one.
Right. I don't like it much here either. I'm a little more okay with it here than Glass Onion, because I feel like this movie's in a different universe in terms of logic. It's comic booky, whereas Glass Onion is a murder mystery, and I just don't buy that. But yeah, I have a lot of fun with that scene. And then obviously Joker's little poem on the way out is a lot of fun. Like we're like, perhaps inside I'm really crying, perhaps you'll join me for a weep or whatever, and then he laughs and like airplanes away like a child.
I really like the parade scene. When it came, what's that supposed to mean? I just like
fun with Party Man.
Well, yeah, but then he's up there. He's dancing. He's pumping his fist. They're just throwing out money. That was my favorite sequence with the Joker. Sorry, I moved the mic. That was my favorite sequence of the Joker, when he's at the parade. He's on top of the float and he's just having a great time. And then he's like looking around. He's like, "Those were my balloons," or I don't even remember exactly how he said it, but he's like,
"What? Those are my balloons."
Yeah,
he's like in disbelief. Why didn't anyone tell me he had one of those things? He's got a lot of great line deliveries.
I would say mine is probably there's that scene where Batman's like shooting the gun, and it's pure camp in the middle of all the chaos after the parade. Joker pulls out the gun with the extremely long barrel that somehow fits in his pants. And he just goes. And that's the pure chaos that like leads to the end of the movie, where he brings Vicky Vale up to the tower, and Batman's trying to have this very like serious like hero getting his revenge moment, where I want to ask Zach something after I finish this, but he's having this serious moment, and Jack Nicholson's going full camp. Come on, man. I got glasses. You wouldn't hit a guy with glasses.
That was so funny. He grabs glasses out.
I think the funniest freak out there is like, and I said there's a few positives that come from the twist that he killed Bruce's parents. and I forgot to mention this one, but that line where, Bruce is like, I made you, you made me, or whatever. And then Jack's like, I mean, come on, I say you made me, and then you got to say that I made you. I mean, like, how childish can you get? Like, just like, that part's just, that whole scene is funny to me. I love the church. I love the way it looks. Like I said,
Oh my
narratively
God,
light, but the church setting is great there at the end.
That it reminds me kind of the church from Wake Up Dead Man. This like very gothic, like American gothic.
Wake Up Batman.
Wake Up Batman.
Yeah, it is gothic. Very gothic. Yeah, I wrote down a lot of just quotes. I'm like, I love these line deliveries, but I'm just not gonna go through them. But I do have here, I'm glad you're dead. I like it when he's just talking to the corpse, the sizzled corpse in the mob room.
Zach, I have a question for you.
Mhm.
This Batman kills people.
Yeah.
Like he kills a good amount of people, and I know your biggest gripe with the Affleck version was that he was killing people. So
I don't know if that was my biggest gripe with the Affleck version.
I mean, you had a big problem with that.
You didn't stop
from
talking about it.
You were like, I hate that people are like, oh, it's cool, Batman kills people, but that's not the point. But this one does that. And I feel like you often overlook that. So is that something you're able to forgive here? And if so, why?
I don't love it, but also it's not as big of a deal. It's not like he goes out of his way to kill people. If there's another he doesn't drop that mugger guy off the building in the opening scene, like he's not doing that. He does go into like a factory and explode it with all Joker's henchmen in there with their matching jackets, by the way. I love that they all got coordinated matching jackets. Like, who placed that order? That's great. Joker's very fashion-centric in this movie.
He's working overtime because they have the jackets by the time he has the mob meeting, too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't love it. I did have that here as a question. Is Batman is okay with casualties? How do we feel about that? And I don't know. It wasn't really until the Nolan Batman where it became like a big plot point, because the Dark Knight is all about even Batman Begins. It's established in Batman Begins because that's a whole big deal with,
he does technically kill Ra's al Ghul, though. Just because you're not saving
technicalities there at the end,
I'm not going to kill you.
I don't know.
But I don't have to save you.
I think a lot of it comes from, because then how is he different from them? And honestly, I think as long as we're acknowledging that he is a little effed in the head, then I'm fine with him maybe towing that line. Sometimes, because sometimes it's like, oh, if he's killing people, if he's okay with killing some henchmen, then why doesn't he just kill the Joker? And it's like, that becomes a debate later in something like, oh, how many people did you die because you let the Joker live or whatever. And he just keeps on breaking out and doing it. Was that in Justice League? One of them. I don't know. One of the Zack Snyder ones, I think. I think that doesn't matter here because he does try to kill the Joker. He literally is flying a plane towards him with a big target locking in on him. Misses. Because I guess it's designed for big targets where it would just hit the side, not individuals with your gunship. But I don't know. I'm okay with it. I think logically, it makes sense here. I think.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, he does murder a man pretty graphically in the next one.
Whoa,
with the bomb.
He smiles about it.
He's a little cheeky about that one.
But I thought it would be worth bringing that up because in the Nolan films, it's the biggest thing about him that he refuses to kill people. It's probably reiterated,
and it's written really well. Yeah, that's a good distinction in those movies because that becomes just such a focal point in The Dark Knight because it's Joker's whole him trying to point out the lunacy of these certain rules or whatever. That's why that's the best scene in The Dark Knight, in my opinion, is that interrogation one-on-one scene between Batman and Joker. So that's
you're gonna have to break your one rule.
Exactly. Cole, did you have a favorite scene from this movie before we wrap it up?
I mean, I mentioned my favorite Joker bit. God, I think the Ace Chemicals is the most comic booky sequence that we get in the movie, just because that feels like it's ripped straight out of the page and pasted there. I mean, I'm trying to think of my favorite sequence, and the art gallery is probably it, though.
I used to love the art gallery growing up. That's just, as a 6-year-old, that you just live for a scene like that with a fun song and they're doing silly things.
That was the one scene from this movie that I like vividly remembered growing up, even before I saw it, because of his face being painted, but like not actually painted, but like kinda. And then like the skin color of paint coming off of his face.
I mean,
and showing
that's
white
another
underneath.
great point of like him as a character is like he's silly, but like there is just such menace there with like Felicia, come here, like show her why you wear the mask, and he's literally saying, and I almost wish they did more with this concept because I love how he describes himself. He's like, I'm the world's first fully functioning homicidal artist, and like it's like he's killing people in a way that he views as art, and I feel like that actually is such an interesting approach to the character that they don't play up enough. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, this is a bit of a reach, but in my head, this is how it is. It's just like a really interesting idea that you do nothing with right after you bring it up.
Yeah.
And it's like in Scream 2 when they were like, oh my gosh, look at the names. They're repeating the kills from the first movie because look at these 3 names. They're all similar to the names from the first 3 people killed in the first movie or whatever. And that's it. After that, they do not follow that, and that idea is abandoned. They're not remaking the first movie or whatever. I don't know. Either way, that's a nitpick. But that's not a big deal. Corey, before we move on, another little trivia for you.
Oh, so what's Prince song or Batman title? That's what we're gonna go. Prince.
Get me a Lieutenant Eckhart. Now, Lieutenant Eckhart, Corey. Do you know his name is William Hootkins? Do you know what you know him from? Came out a small role in a movie that you've seen far more times.
Pretty big movie, Corey.
Who did he play?
He also
Lieutenant
had
Eckhart. He's the corrupt cop at the beginning of this movie.
He also
I
had
thought I recognized him from somewhere.
He also had another role in a very famous franchise.
He did, but I feel like this one's more this character name. He'll recognize the name. You would recognize this character's name because I think he has a reputation, honestly, because of his name and maybe in relation to his weight, unfortunately.
For some reason, I picture him with like a helmet on.
Oh my god!
He's
got it.
He's
I have no idea where I'm.
I'm gonna kill him because you do know. You do know.
But I did recognize him. I recognized him, and I was like,
okay, we'll give you the other one he's in.
Is it like a
maybe
Star Wars?
I don't know if it's gonna.
Is it a Star Wars that he's in?
Keep going. Keep
That's
going.
All,
keep digging. Keep digging.
Well, if he's got
buddy.
a helmet on, I don't know. Is he like? I don't know.
Corey,
but I can't picture him.
I want to say
he
dies in this film, and I want to say he dies in his Star Wars film, right? Doesn't he?
You're asking the wrong person.
I think so.
Yeah,
I have no idea. Oh, you're asking cool. I don't.
All right. Well, because this is going on too long, he is Jack Tano Porkins in the original Star Wars. He's one of the X-wing pilots.
Is he Big Red?
I don't remember.
Oh wait, no, it's like Red One or something like that. Like he's one.
I think he's Red Leader.
Red
I have the image of like the sparks and the explosion happening, and he dies. Yeah, that's
okay. You guys. So I did have a question. I have a list of pre-MCU, pre-Nolan.
Good. This is a good wrap up for the action. Yeah.
DC and Marvel. So I'm going to go through the list of DC, and then I'm going to go through the list
Batman
of
Returns. Skip Batman Returns because we don't want to show our hand there.
Yeah, but I feel it's worth noting. So I'm going to start with Marvel. Marvel's list pre-MCU is a bit shorter.
Do we just want to go, yes, this is better, or no, this is... Is that just a... Okay, let's keep it simple. Yes means Batman is better.
I've seen it. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You
Howard
can say
the
haven't
Duck.
seen it if you haven't seen it. I haven't seen it, but God, I'd be fucking shocked if this was not as good as Howard the Duck.
Blade.
This is better. Yes, I'll just say yes. Yes.
I do like Blade. But I'll say this one's a better movie overall.
I think Blade has one of my favorite, like, just like
too long
break moments where he's like, "What the fuck are you out of your goddamn mind?"
Let's Cole, you say a movie,
rattle them off,
and we'll each say our favorite quote.
X-Men.
This is better than the first X-Men. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Haven't seen.
I don't know.
The first Raimi Spider-Man.
No.
This is where it gets dicey. I'm gonna go. Oh man, I'm gonna say yes. This is better by a hair.
Oh,
okay.
It's
Daredevil.
No,
haven't seen it.
X2.
No, I do love X2.
Ang Lee's Hulk.
Haven't seen
I
it.
feel like I switched when I said yes. I mean, like, yes. Fuck, I forgot which one yes and no meant. All right, either way.
Yes,
I-
Batman
yes
is
means
better.
it's better.
Yeah,
Bat-
okay, I said no for
Batman is
X2.
better.
For X2.
You made
yes,
the
Batman.
rule.
I know. Batman is better than X2. Sorry. And then what's the next one you said?
Ang Lee's The Hulk.
Haven't seen, but
Yeah, no idea.
That
The Punisher, starring Thomas Jane.
Haven't seen it.
Batman's better. Yes,
Spidey 2.
No,
I'll go Spidey too.
Blade Trinity.
haven't seen that one.
Elektra.
Haven't seen it.
LOL.
This is a bad game for me.
Fantastic Four, the 2005.
no. What are we doing there? What's all that?
Great.
Batman's better, but I really like Fantastic Four. I
Dude,
really
Just
like
shut up.
The Last Stand, X-Men.
We have some integrity to maintain here. That's the type of shit that will make someone never come to listen to this podcast again, Corey.
I really like the Fantastic Four.
Okay,
Oh my
X-Men,
God.
The Last Stand, better or no?
Yes, Batman is better.
Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider.
Haven't seen. Actually, really want to see just out of curiosity, but haven't seen.
Corey, have you seen it?
No,
Spidey 3.
Batman's
No.
better.
Yeah, I mean, Batman's better. Fuck me.
And finally, our final pre-Nolan MCU Marvel movie, Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Batman's better.
Batman's better. So for me, my official the only one that beat Batman for me in that was Spider-Man 2. Just so that was clear on my end.
Okay. And I'm going to skip the first two DC movies because it's Superman and the Mole Men and Batman 1966, which I
Haven't
can
seen.
guarantee neither of you have seen.
I haven't seen a
I
lot
want
of
to
these
see
movies
it.
in a
I
while.
want to see it. Maybe
I've
Yeah.
heard fun things. I mean, I'm sure it's a fun movie.
maybe we'll do a one-off Batman trilogy where we do that one and then Mask of the Phantasm and then Matt Reeves Batman.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
Very three different visions.
First two Superman films.
It's been a long time. I don't know if I can speak to it right
Boy,
now.
I probably think, the first Superman is probably a better movie. I would prefer to watch this one, Batman, but I would probably say Superman.
Okay.
Superman 2, no, though. Superman
Yeah.
2, no. I would absolutely say Batman's better than that
I'm
one.
going to skip the next one because it's Swamp Thing, and I can guarantee both of you have never seen that.
It's a Wes Craven picture. Can't guarantee
Superman
anything.
3.
Uh,
Richard
I have
Pryor's
seen that one.
Superman 3.
Yeah, Batman's better.
Zach, you watched Supergirl, didn't you?
No, but I plan on it. So excited.
The show?
No, the
Nope.
movie. There was a movie starring this actress, Helen Slater. Yeah.
Barely know her.
Superman 4, The Quest for Peace.
Haven't seen it.
Return
Maybe it's
of the
great.
Return of the Swamp Thing, I can guarantee you both haven't seen.
I don't like you guaranteeing what I've seen and not seen.
Zach, I would be borderline shocked.
Wes,
I might
here's
have
the
a heart
thing.
attack.
I haven't seen the first Swamp Thing, but you saying that you guaranteed it was actually really risky because I do have it on my watch list. It's a Wes Craven movie. I will get to it.
I feel like you would have told us if you watched it, though.
don't know when that would've
Batman
come up.
Forever.
Yes, Batman. Yes, Batman is better than Batman Forever.
Batman and Robin.
Yes, Batman is better than Batman and Robin.
Shaq's Steel.
I don't like the game anymore.
Yeah. Read
I
movies
think
we've
we're-
seen.
I think we know that it's not, whatever you're going to name next, it's not better.
Yeah,
than-
the next two are Catwoman and Constantine.
Okay, I do want to see Constantine, but yeah.
Yeah,
Batman's better
'cause that
than
one's
all of
got-
those.
Apparently, it's got a sequel coming out at some point.
We'll see about that. All right, anything else? Are we
On
ready
to
to...
the award season.
Apparently they're straight off course, and we're fairly certain they're in guerrilla hands.
So why don't you use the regular army? What do you need us for?
Because some damn fool accused you of being the best.
Cole, it looks like you. Oh no, I get to go first.
No, you're first. Yeah.
Oh
I
my
made you
gosh, I was
first.
like, Cole, you made the sheet, but you're actually going last. Very interesting that you did that to yourself. I don't know if Zach hopped on there later and did that. That's
No,
fine.
I didn't do that.
No, that was me.
Okay, I am gonna go first. My MVP is gonna be Tim Burton. My big positive for this movie was how this looked and how it's very, very him and how it felt very unique. and that it doesn't feel like I'm just watching another city. It feels like I'm in this version, this world of Gotham, and I think that is a huge, hugely attributed to him and what he brought to this movie. Without that, I don't know if I would have been as interested, just because, like, I mean, we talked about it, the story wasn't a lot to the story besides the interesting part of discovering who Batman is. But I mean, at this point, I was kind of okay with just kind of ignoring that. But that might be a tell of the times, and less so like what kind of movie they were making now, just since we've seen it so many times. It was kind of refreshing to see an older movie do that, and even the way they did it felt fresh, even though I knew exactly what they were discovering. But Tim Burton really brought the best parts of this movie to life. So I'm going to say Tim Burton is my MVP for Batman 1989.
Danny Elfman.
Fuck.
For me. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of this score. And I was talking about it with a friend of the pod and brother of me, Sam, beforehand about this score. Because I think
Brother of Zach.
we talked about this, or brought it up at least a little bit on the Spider-Man episode with that theme. Is like, that's the best superhero theme. And I feel like the two that I go back to are that's Danny Elfman's Spider-Man theme and Danny Elfman's Batman theme. And I think they both, even though they're from the same guy, they suit their own, they're very distinct from each other, and, they serve their own movies and their own tones very, very well. This phrase, you use the term heroic for the Sam Raimi Spider-Man theme, Cole, when we were talking about that. And I think maybe the main theme, like the main title sequence theme with Danny Elfman here, isn't like heroic's not the first word you think of. I think it's appropriately gothic. We're going to use that term again. But like, I think that theme, that scene, I can like distill what I love about this Danny Elfman score. And like that one scene where he saves Vicky from the museum after the car chase. And there's a whole scene of them just driving through a spooky Tim Burton forest. And it's
so spooky.
That Danny,
spooky.
like with like, the wind
Really
blowing the
spooky.
leaves and stuff. It's very fall looking forest. And Tim Burton, that Danny Elfman score just builds and builds, as she's like realizing she is in a car with an absolute weirdo. Like the way that like she's just like staring at him, and he like his eyes kind of like look over at her for a second and then go back on the road. But like, what does that scene do? There's no dialogue in that scene. How does that written on the page? I don't know. But I feel like the music sells what it's supposed to be, which is like she is journeying with Batman. Yeah, but she's journeying with Batman into more and more into, where he lives, his Batcave, but like also like his psyche. Like in that track on the soundtrack, I think is called like Descent into Mystery or something like that. And it's that honestly is one of my favorite scenes in the movie. I love that score there. And I think, to bring it back to the heroic thing, I think that's where it sounds very heroic by the end of that theme. And then again at the end, the finale of it, like when we're rising to the top of the building, and it ends with those like 3 bells or whatever. I know that used to be my brother Sam's ringtone for a while, I think. That the end theme there at the end of this one. So big fan of the score. I love when they play it at the Batman ride in the queue at Six Flags. That ride is definitely built aesthetically after these movies, and not like obviously the Nolan movies, because I mean it came out before the Nolan movies.
That part of Six Flags is the Tim Burton aesthetic.
And then the Mr. Freeze ride is much more the Joel Schumacher ones, because it's, the Mr. Freeze character. So,
Cole, what's your favorite Six Flags ride?
This is fun. I like this. We could have a whole episode on Six Flags. I could do it. I would love that. Get a load of this.
God.
Yeah, get a load of these flags.
I'd have to say the boss or Mr. Freeze.
I wasn't. I didn't. Okay, thank you. But
man, the boss. Last time I went on the boss, that was a rude wake up call when I realized like my back. I was like Tobey Maguire, like my back getting off the boss, and I was like, this is the first I feel old moment. You used to laugh at the old people like I can't go on that roller coaster, and then it was a wake up call. It was my first time going there in a while last summer, and I got just obliterated by the boss. The boss really showed me what was what.
Who was the boss?
Exactly. I was trying to dance around saying that, but yeah.
Zach, just to add to your Danny Elfman thing, there was a video Zach showed me when we were really young, and it was a guy
this was gonna come up.
singing along to this theme.
Yeah, he had lyrics. He wrote lyrics to the theme about Batman.
It's I found it. It was.
I'm gonna preserve the memory of it in my head.
18 years ago. It currently has 10 million views.
I don't think it'll be as funny to me now as a 26-year-old man as it was as a 9-year-old child who got on YouTube. So I'm going to preserve that memory and not watch it. I know that guy ended up doing it for other themes too. I remember he had a Jaws one, I think.
Superman 1.
Yeah.
Remember this Superman.
Not doing it.
My MVP is Jack Nicholson. This
Good.
film is madness in like the best way, and Jack Nicholson is the madness. You know, I mean, we get a little from Michael Keaton.
Quote.
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Jack Nicholson is nuts, and I think it's just so funny. There's one quote that I love that's just complete gibberish, but you move past it immediately, and it's, "I'm of a mind makes a moogie." What does it mean? What does that even fucking mean? Who knows? But it works for the character. It's insanity, and he is by far, I mean, after Ledger, I'd say he's my favorite portrayal of the Joker.
So here's something that popped in my head right now. This is a brief anecdote about that Joker and his line readings. And honestly, it kind of sheds light on how early I saw this, because this was first grade. I have a memory of being in my first grade classroom. That line where he goes, "This town needs an enema." I remember asking my brother what an enema was. And he says, "An enema means good time." And I remember saying it in class, and then the teacher laughing, and then bringing another teacher in to have me say it again. And so that timestamps it of when I saw this is, I do remember that. That is a very distinct memory in my head. It was Miss Kenny in first grade. So yeah, that's another good line. Right?
On to the review section.
Says that they insist on outside opinions.
What kind of opinions?
Well, your kind, not to put too fine a point on it. I mean, let's face it, in your particular field, you're the top minds.
Corey, did you hear any of that?
No.
We didn't hear
I was gonna
that, buddy.
I do. Okay, whatever. Either way,
your audio is still cutting in and out.
No. Oh, wait. I had one little thing.
I'll hear it when I go back and edit this, and Cole will never hear this again.
I'm sure it'll be a clip.
Wait. Let it gather itself.
I'm sure this was a really funny story, buddy.
No. I don't even care about the story anymore. I had one last little question. It was going to be a fun one.
In and out again.
Shut up and let me get it out, Cole. I'm coming back in and out. 1 second. I'm not gonna keep you guys just giggling about it, because that's not fun. All right. Is it back, or is it still bad? Is it still bad? All right, I'm coming back in. 1 second. Wait.
What happened recently that he just can't stay on anymore?
I don't either, because since I've gotten the app, I feel like it's been smooth. Relatively.
Maybe that's what he needs.
Corey's so tired.
I need coffee. I'm not gonna have one.
Am I back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're back in the New York groove, baby.
All right. The last thing I was going to say on the Jack Nicholson thing was rank these 3 Jack Nicholson villains: Jack Torrance, Jack Napier, Frank Costello.
Ooh. I'm going to go Frank number 1, Jack Napier
Torrance.
2, and Jack Torrance 3.
Jack Torrance 3.
Yeah.
What are we ranking them in terms of?
However
Just
you
villainy.
want to, big boy.
Just villainy, man.
Well, not by who's the worst. Just how much do you enjoy that character, watching that character?
Frank Costello is just such a unique, I think the best way to describe him is a unique bastard. He is pure evil in every sense of the word.
How I enjoy watching them, I think it's going to be Frank Costello, Jack Torrance, Jack Napier.
Ooh.
I honestly think I'm the reverse of Cole. I think I'm going Jack Torrance number 1, Jack Napier 2, and then Frank Costello 3. But obviously, all 3 are incredible performances.
Yeah,
it's one of the best actors of all time. So.
It's not like we're saying any of these performances are bad. It's yeah.
Jack Nicholson is just the best, and I love everything he does. Anyway, on to the review section.
Zach, have you seen him at a Laker game?
No, but that photo where he dropped chili while sitting courtside is one of the funniest photos, one of the funniest sports photos ever. Have you seen that, Corey?
I'm looking it up.
He sat courtside and spilled chili that he brought himself on the court. I don't know. He might be banned from courtside now. It might just be box seats for him.
He looks so old. Yeah, it says he's banned from sitting courtside after spilling Tupperware full of homemade chili.
I think he's like an honorary Laker. I think they've like dubbed him like an honorary like captain or something because he's had courtside seats for the better part of like
maybe
70 years.
That might be. It was from The Onion, so I don't think that's not right. But
Do you think Art the
it's
Clown
a funny headline.
got any influence? Do you see any influence of this Joker in Art the Clown? Just the outlandish, eccentric, like
Some of
the glee that they get from their own actions.
I was gonna say
like
the movements and like facial expressions for sure.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
but like actual actions, I don't think so.
They make themselves laugh a lot. Obviously, with Art, it's silent, but there are many times where he's just laughing at what he's doing, like the Joker does here. I mean,
he's wearing
Joker telling bad jokes to himself. All right, go ahead, Cole.
He's wearing corduroy pants, and he's got it all over his pants.
This picture of Jack Nicholson with the chilies filled next to him.
That's what I'm telling you. It's one of the funniest photos.
Like the simplicity of just him dropping this chili and like looking at the guy next to him.
It tells a story, doesn't it? This guy brought homemade chili in Tupperware to the game. This guy could not eat on the way to the game. This guy can afford to eat wherever he wants. He could go to any restaurant he wants. He could eat anything at the game he wants. Instead, he brings a Tupperware of chili to eat courtside? What was he thinking? It's just
Cole,
there's an ego there that I love. I don't know. It really paints a picture of him as a person. It's really funny.
Cole, what is your review of Batman 1989?
To make a good Batman film, you have to have a healthy dose of casting controversy, big name actors, and a really interesting doctor. 4.25 out of 5.
Wacky theatrical Joker. Break your spine to look up. Hot off the press photographer and a grant for the upcoming Alexander Knox HBO show. Everything you want, but not enough of what you need. 3 out of 5.
3?
Oh,
Corey.
Oh boy, I'm nervous for the next episode. I'm scared.
I've seen all of these movies.
I know,
but you hate them.
I know, but then we're gonna have Sam on, and he's very passionate about Batman Returns.
Sam Ho STL is gonna be
a little more passionate even than I am.
The pod. Sam Hostel's about to be on the pod.
Yeah,
did I push back on anything? I told you what I didn't like about like the things that bothered me about it, and it's just like that's an opinion part. Like there's nothing that you can fix about it.
That's okay.
It's something that I need to be talked out of.
I feel like you said so much more things that you like. Honestly, I was expecting a 4 based off the way you had spoken about it today. But
it just didn't strike. Like, I mean, we didn't really talk about the story, but I think that's like if all of us don't really want to talk about something, it's kind of hard to talk about it. Like I could bring things up, and I brought up like my big issue first one. Yeah, and that's. I mean,
it's a pretty surface level story.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I love, like, again, I wish they accentuated the Joker's, like, I make art thing till someone dies.
Right, but they didn't.
Right, well, the smiley thing, I do love he's killing people.
That Joker.
And they just die smiling is very an eerie image.
It is. And then he's doing that while also trying to steal Bruce Wayne's girlfriend, which it feels like that's why Bruce Wayne / Batman's really into this part of it. It's like, I don't like that.
See, that personal aspect is why the reveal that he killed his parents too is a hat on a hat. You know what I mean? It's already personal enough with the girlfriend angle,
And so that's what I said. There wasn't like a ton to talk about with it, but that's something that like, I mean, if there was a story with it, I would have appreciated it more, despite me not liking it necessarily stylistic wise, or not liking it, but like it not being high on my ranking stylistically of what I see Batman as. When I first reviewed this 4 years ago to date, it was 3 out of 5 as well. So I'm nothing if not consistent.
You are nothing if not consistent. All right. My review.
You're nothing, is what he's saying.
I don't know. I felt like there's a
You're
tone.
Nothing.
There's a tone. Yeah, I said it with a tone, really not knowing what I meant by it by any means. Completely unmotivated, just so doubt and distrust amongst the three of us. All right. By fusing Tim Burton's gothic sensibilities with 1940s noir and 1980s Prince soundtrack mania, I get a grin again and again. And remember, this is my number 1 film. 4.5 out of 5.
Oh.
Kind of felt like you were a professional wrestler doing your intro there for a little bit.
You
I'm not
sounded
gonna
like
talk
a
about my
bonesaw, brother. Bonesaw is ready.
I couldn't decide if I want to do the green again and again or the "You are my number one guy" quote. And I was like, I guess I just went with both, and we'll see which one sticks. We'll see which one sticks in the edit.
On to the post-credit scene.
You're still here. It's over. Go home.
Next episode is a surprise.
We can tell them. Let's just tell them because they should probably just watch it.
Okay, yeah. I mean, the next episode we're covering is the first Friday the 13th movie. Is that correct, Zach? The first Friday the 13th that we're doing?
Seems like a good place, 1980.
1980. I was close.
You didn't say a number. 80 Friday the 13th, and we are dropping that on a very special day. We're dropping it on, that's right, Friday the 13th in February, so that we have a little bit of a theme this year. And then after that, we will be covering Batman Returns. So put your Santa hats on and Christmas trees back up because we're watching Batman Returns and talking about it all over again as we talked about it in the Christmas episode not too long ago because we didn't want to show our hand too much, but here we are showing our hand.
This was all planned out.
This is all planned. It's a grand scheme. But since the last episode, have you guys been watching anything or did you guys decide to quit TV and movies for this year? Was that your big?
Got something I want to bring up.
I
saw something an early screening of it last night. By the time this comes out, it will just be normal out. But Sam Raimi's new film with Rachel McAdams, Send Help. You just don't miss. That's just to put it simply. It's a lot of fun. I would highly recommend it. It's definitely more comedy than horror. It's not like whereas like this is like only his second original like non-IP movie since 2000. Because he's made 4 superhero films and then a Wizard of Oz movie. This and Drag Me to Hell I think are both really fun and worth checking out. Drag Me to Hell is far more horror than this one, and this one is far more comedy than that one. But both of them have kind of like doses of both genres in there. But yeah, definitely go see it. Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien are so funny in this movie. Just the facial expressions alone that they make at different points in their line deliveries. I was smiling the entire time. So definitely go see Send Help. A very worthy entry into the Sam Raimi canon.
Cole?
Oh, me.
You said you had 2 things you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, so I watched Springsteen, Deliver Me from Nowhere.
I saw that came out on Max, right?
Yeah, but Disney Plus.
Oh,
it's a
sorry.
Searchlight film. But I remember having this conversation with Zach just about what makes like a biopic interesting, and I feel like this one fails just because, to put it simply, Bruce Springsteen, in the best way, is like not that interesting of a guy.
Yeah.
And it's hard to make a movie just about a guy who's really sad. I mean, yes, he made a great album. I always recommend listening to Nebraska because I think it's a great album, but it's just, he's a sad guy. And I think I said when Jeremy Allen White, Sad Boys, it's like he's probably the best sad boy out there working in Hollywood these days, but it's not a very interesting movie. And then I watched The Smashing Machine, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Definitely recommend that one. It is very interesting.
I've heard really good things.
He's great. Him and Emily Blunt are great. And something I love that Benny Safdie did, he cast like real kickboxers, fighters to be actors in the movie, and one of the guys he cast to play Mark Coleman actually does a really good job. So yeah, definitely recommend The Smashing Machine. If you like music biopics, Deliver Me from Nowhere's okay, but it's nothing special.
Did you also see what was the other one? What was the Bob Dylan one?
Complete Unknown. Still haven't watched that.
I was going to say, can you compare the two? But if you haven't seen it, that's fine.
I can compare it to Walk the Line, and I will say Walk the Line is a much better movie.
Since the last time we recorded, I watched The Rip, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck vehicle on Netflix.
Matt Damon.
I also watched a little bit of the interview with them because they were talking about their film company, and I thought that was kind of interesting. It was fine. It was good. It was interesting. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it was just like, I don't know if I watch it again necessarily. If you're looking for an action-packed, like kind of a little bit of a thriller, I recommend it, and it's on Netflix, so it's easy, and it's one of the big ones. But yeah, I haven't really watched too much else. I'm trying to get all the 2025 movies that I've missed under my belt before we get too deep into the year, so I can start watching 2026 movies. But I still haven't seen Weapons. I need to watch that one. And then there's
you'll like that.
There's another big one I'm missing, but I can't remember it off the
K-pop?
top. No, I've seen that multiple times.
I have not, still not watched that.
Cole, stop watching High School Musical and watch
But
K-pop.
it was the 20th anniversary.
It seemed like most of the actors didn't even care.
Yeah, I just don't get what.
Like, what do you?
We're all in this together.
We're not.
No,
I'm
it's
actually
just
not with
you.
you on this.
It's just you.
Creme brulee. How about you go ahead and stick to the status quo, Cole, and just stick to what you know. You know.
Well,
No.
Everyone, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and catch us next time as we're talking about Friday the 13th, 1980 Friday the 13th, and then we'll be moving on to Batman Returns after that. And then a little bit of surprise again, because we don't know. So stay tuned to hear what we will be covering. If you have anything... Oh,
yeah, we do.
Oh, we do. But we don't have we don't want to show too much of our hands right now.
Yeah.
But if there is anything, we're still filling out the year. So if you have anything that you want us to watch, just let us know. If you're a friend, family, or foe, just text us. But thank you again, and keep watching movies until next time.
DB friend, family, or foe.